All right. Well, the holidays are upon us, and I got a special gift early. I got to watch this fantastic show starring our guest today, Rich Ting. This is so cool. He is a part of this new Dick Wolf universe series called On Call, and it premieres on Amazon Prime January 9th. Uh, I've had a chance to see this. I'm so thankful. It's such a good show. Rich, and of course, Tulsa King. I mean, the list goes on and on. Thank you for your time. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Likewise, pleasure to meet you as well, Brett. Thank you for having me on.
Yes, well, one of the things I love about this series, well, let's just first, so people know, you play Sergeant Koyama, and this show, for the Wolf Universe fans, this does not take place in Chicago or New York
Right,
or LA. It takes
right,
place in Long Beach, which is part of, it used to be the Rampart division. And this procedural drama is intense. Your cast is amazing. I have to ask just right out of the gate, can you let us know like how you got involved with it? Because you've done other things. Obviously, people know who you are. What was sort of the impetus for getting involved? Was it just a traditional audition, uh, straight offer? How did it work?
yeah. For pretty much it was a traditional, situation where casting and the creatives reached out. This day and age, it's a lot of taping, right? And it kind of just starts there and goes through the ranks. And so, yes, I was very fortunate to be cast as Sergeant Tyson Koyama, aka Koy, is what they refer to me throughout the season. And what a tremendous opportunity to be a part of the Wolf Entertainment world, right? I think we are. I speak for millions when we say we're all fans of his work and his shows. So to actually be playing a police officer, which is kind of my childhood fantasy, right? I have this famous photo when I was probably like 4 years old in a cop uniform, and to see that kind of play out in reality under the Dick Wolf umbrella on the West Coast in Long Beach. I'm originally from the South Bay of Southern California, so it just all was a bit surreal, to be honest, when it came together. And the cherry on top is actually my character name of Koyama, which is actually my mother's maiden name. And so, everyone obviously knows me for my father's name as Rich Ting, but it's the first time I've been able to represent my mother's side of the family and my Japanese heritage, which are all from the South Bay. And so, it not only does the character, but the name, and it just everything hits home for me on this one. And it's just a real honor to, like I said, not only be a part of this family, but to represent the character that I'm portraying.
Yeah, your show lead or one of your show leads is Lori Laughlin,
Right.
which is just wild to see Aunt Becky playing a police chief,
Right.
or captain. Um, Now, as I said, this his shows traditionally are in New York,
Hmm.
uh, Chicago, but this takes place in the LA County area, Long Beach. It's interesting. How was Long Beach? Do you know sort of the lore behind why that was chosen? Because that's one of the things I love is it's in California and it's not
Right.
LA, which
Right.
those aren't bad, but to have it in a different city, set in a different universe is very cool, I think.
Definitely. I think from a creative standpoint, I can't speak for the producers and Elliot and Tim Walsh and those guys, but one thing is that we've discussed kind of as a crew while we were filming is that it's one of the biggest kept secrets I think in Southern California. It's such a huge area. The zip code is tremendous, and not only the geographic so vast, but the culture and the multiculturalism that encompasses that area of Long Beach is tremendous.
Mm.
And I'm proud to say that I do not believe Long Beach has ever been put on the map in this way.
I don't think it has. I researched while I was
Right,
watching this over Thanksgiving. I've never seen it. Maybe like it's always LA, I think.
right. And I think, obviously, Snoop Dogg put it on the map because he's from the LBC and a lot of like, his crew and famous rappers out of that area. But like I said, from a police procedural, especially on a streaming network in Dick Wolf's network world, right? This is, I think, a rarity. And I think it's tremendous. it's a tremendous opportunity to put Long Beach on the map, to show another part of Southern California that the world has never seen. Um, like I said, having grown up in the area, having seen it evolve and taking a more personal approach to preparing for this role, through my ride-alongs with the Long Beach Police Department, it really there's so many gems, good and bad, in Long Beach that we get to explore in this first season of On Call, and just I think a great tribute just to the city of Long Beach.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It is a love letter to the city, I think.
Definitely.
Um, and you mentioned this idea of procedurals. Um, One of a few that are on streaming,
Hmm.
which is great because you can watch multiple episodes all at once, but
Right.
then it's over and you have to wait if
Yeah.
and when a new season, not you guys necessarily, but
Right.
traditionally, that's the thing about streaming. It's like, well, now we have to wait a year.
Yeah.
Um, Now,
Unfortunately.
also Eric LaSalle is a part of this, which is just
Yes.
intense. Um, you're, you're,
Right. Right.
he looks so different in this. He plays, um, his character name escapes me at the moment, but
Hmm.
uh, do you mind drop? Who
Yeah.
is it?
It's intense in the best way possible. That's why I laugh.
Yeah,
You know, Eric plays Sergeant Lastman,
yeah, and
and
he is like a traditional old guard
right.
police officer for LA County.
Right. So huge fan of Eric. Watched him throughout his entire career as a kid to the present, and to be on a show in which I get to work with him as an actor and share the screen, be directed by him, as well as, um, he's one of our EPs. So it's just fantastic.
You work with some great people in this show. And let's talk about your character a little bit
Sure.
because he, co-opposite your lead, has moved from patrol to a task force unit, and you are working a crime scene or an incident when you first meet. Uh, Man, her name is escaping me
Troyan.
now.
Troyan.
Troyan, yes,
Yeah.
I apologize, Troyan. And you guys have a relationship there. Now,
Right.
you also talked about doing ride-alongs. So, was that important for this to have that experience for all the cast to see what it's like? Which I think I love about this is that it's very real. I have former friends who are former LAPD officers
Hmm.
who will tell you these types of shows, when they get it right, they get it right. And
Right.
it's really, really good.
Right. Yeah, to answer the part of that question is, yeah, the ride-alongs were essential to you know what? I'm sorry. Can we stop recording for a second? Or
Yes.
thank you for that.
All right, three, two, one. So we meet your character at the beginning of the series. You come across the lead, played by Troyan, who you've worked together before, and you can tell that this relationship has got history to it.
Right.
She's has her own issues that she's dealing with, and you have things too that we learn about as the series goes on. You mentioned at the beginning or in the middle here, you've done ride-alongs, or you did ride-alongs. Was that
Mhm.
super important to have that experience so you could play this character, not Hollywoodize it, but it's very believable. Even down to the lingo and the slang that you use and the way you carry yourself, it's all very official.
Right. Fantastic question. Yes, the answer is, fortunately for me, throughout my past, just growing up, I've had a lot of family and close friends that are in law enforcement. So I've been able to, do ride-alongs from a young child throughout high school and college, and now more importantly for this series. And so, thanks to the production team and our tech advisors for arranging ride-alongs with me for Long Beach. I was actually with their gang unit, and that was very eye-opening in the sense that had I not gone on these ride-alongs prior to us beginning filming, I don't think I would have fully understood or believed what was actually on set when I got to set. And what I mean is this. we started shooting this show, I believe, in 2020 2023, right?
Wow.
And then so a year ago basically, but then we got stopped because we had a SAG strike, and then we picked it up earlier in 2024 and completed it earlier this year. I say that because we're living in 2024, and the cool thing about this show is that it's present, it's right now, it's attacking all issues of everyday life, post COVID, political, economic, socio-economic, multicultural issues, everything that we are very familiar with in the present day. Saying that, I haven't been back to Long Beach in a while. Okay. I live in Los Angeles, and so, relatively close, but it's not somewhere that I find myself commuting to or find myself going to frequently. And I say that because on my ride alongs, I was surprised to see how things have kind of remained the same from when I was a kid growing up.
Wow.
Um, the reality of the gangs, the reality of the demographic layout, and just what's going on in Long Beach, that isn't quote unquote highlighted by the media. If anything, I feel like it's kept quiet. And that's one of the things, and the realness that we wanted to portray on this show. And so I say that because, not to give any spoilers away, but on my first scene when you meet Sergeant Koyama, I can say this: you meet him on a bridge as he's pulled over some individuals, and these individuals obviously are actors, right? However, they were so accurately dressed, cast, portrayed that I swear I said this right when I got set. I was like, I saw these same individuals 2 weeks ago on the street, and I'm not trying to be ignorant about that. That's how accurate our creatives were in casting real people that not only vibe wise, swag wise, energy wise portrayed the real people I was experiencing and seeing and witnessing on my ride alongs, but they were there. And I was like, okay, this sets the tone because I just lived the real experience a week ago, and now I got to put all that energy onto camera. So for me, these ride alongs, they didn't they fueled me in so many different ways. I remember telling the two officers that I was shadowing that it wasn't just about them showing me, crime and kind of the demographic layouts, of which gang is here and which gang is there, so to speak. It was the interaction they had amongst themselves. It was the mundane behavior, to say the least, that I really focused on. That peer to peer, that cop to cop interaction, that brotherhood. And so, back to the original question about, me meeting Troyan and, my relationship to Troyan in the show. I am what creator Tim Walsh claims is I'm her Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah.
So I'm her training officer 12 years ago. So since she's kind of, like my little sibling in a way. And now she's put 12 years into the force, very seasoned, and we see our past potentially collaborating since I'm in the drug enforcement unit and she's still on the beat. So a very cool dynamic there, and that dynamic she then starts with Brandon as her trainee, and so it's a very cool relationship. I really wanted to establish that in our first scene, which I believe we did, is that we have this history. There's a certain brother sisterhood that we share, and the audience can wait and see how that unfolds, throughout the entire season.
Yeah. I don't know what to say. I can't say, but it's very intense. Well,
Good story.
congratulations on this. You just have a beautiful body of work that you've done. Again, I mentioned Tulsa King comes to mind. That was such a great role.
Thank you.
Sad, but it was a good role. Um,
Right, right, right,
but that's your business.
right,
One last question or two here. Again, as I said, this is a love letter to LA. It's a love letter to Long Beach. It's very present culturally, very diverse. I mean, just the cinematography, the music, it's just all very intense. Um, what do you hope people get when they get a chance to watch this for a police procedural? It's very different.
right,
And it's not what you would expect in
right.
any way, shape, or form.
I think my ideal goal would be two things. One is I kind of split the audience into two groups. One is the general audience, and the second audience would be for our law enforcement audience. And the one thing I'm very proud of, and and share this honor with the entire casting crew, is the accuracy and the detail, the attention to detail, and the realness that this show encompasses regarding anyone from the original cast to extras to creating the whole scene to our guest stars. I'm proud to say that based on what all of our police advisors and our tech advisors and everyone that's, the real law enforcement people that, advocated for us on this show, they they have said nothing but positive things about how real it is, right? And so to the law enforcement audience out there, I really hope that we do them justice as far as bringing something real, accurate, showing them, as real human beings, that risk their lives every day, every second that they, are out there patrolling or literally, trying to catch bad guys, so to speak. And it's a tribute to them, and in that sense, I hope the general audience understands that. This show is very gritty. It's very real. Um, it's not your typical Dick Wolf Network show,
It's not.
and but we're very proud of that because it's real, and the issues are real, the people are real, and the people that, and even the cases that, each episode kind of looks into, they're all real. And so that's why I say, number one, to give back to the law enforcement community for what they do every day to help us live our lives as peacefully as possible. I had that in my head, in my heart, the whole time filming, that I wanted to honor them every second I was on camera, to make sure that, for example, I know a lot of Asian American male police officers, detectives, and other, and other parts of the law enforcement that really never get a presence in Hollywood on the screen. So if I could bring that awareness that there are Asian American male peace officers out there that are serving, our cities and our country every day, that's great. I want to bring that awareness. At the same time, overall, I believe that, like you said, the cast is remarkable. It's probably one of the strongest, or the strongest cast I've worked with in my career. And everyone understands the assignment, to put it just plainly like that. Everyone showed up, everyone knows what we're doing, everyone knows what this is about. And I just hope the general audience understands that and really buys into this other world that Dick Wolf has created for us to enjoy.
Yeah, I have to be honest. Like when I first heard about this, I don't know, 6 months ago or whatever, I was like, well, that's interesting that they're putting it on a streamer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched it and then I was like, oh, yeah, this can't go on uh network television. Well, it
Right,
could, because back in the day, we had Hill Street Blues
right,
and these
right,
other police shows that kind
right.
of, pushed the envelope, but very creative they got. But I think it's in a great place. And for all my Dick Wolf fans that watch and listen, you're gonna love this show. It's got everything you would want in a Dick Wolf story. It's beautiful. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. People are gonna love it, and congratulations on such an awesome show. It's the best, and you're the best. Thank you.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Brett.
Absolutely.